All right, so we're going to look today at the mask with shape command. And this one goes along with the clip selection command and the paste inside commands that we're going to be looking at as well over the next couple of days. So mask with shape, first question we ask is, what is a mask? So imagine for a second you've got, literally a Halloween mask, okay? Real simple. And you put it on your face and you try and look through it. And well, what happens? You can't see anything. Why? Well, because the eye holes in this one haven't been sort of punched out. So if you take this mask and you punch out those eye holes, okay, and you try and do the same thing, put it on your face, suddenly you can see through the eyes. And when you move that mask, you see different portions of what's beyond. And so when we talk about masks, they literally are just sort of covers or windows into viewing other objects and how we sort of make things visible and invisible in a design program. So if we come over here, I've got a real basic image. I've got two shapes. I've got a star and I've got a rectangle. The star is the top layer. Okay, it's the top polygon right there. And so let's see what happens. If I select both of them, I'm going to go up here to modify, mask with shape. It's the shortcut Control Shift M. And when I click on that, let's see what happens. So obviously, what's happened is that the star, which was a layer on top, is sort of acting like a window onto what was inside the shape of the star. So it's masked a value outside. And you'll notice that the color of the star has disappeared. It's now white. Okay. So this mask with shape command is very similar to clip selection. It has a few different features that sort of are the defaults. And the first one is that the color of the clipping mask or the clip shape, which in this case was the star, the object on top, doesn't matter. It goes away and is replaced by just white fill. So it's got white fill now, and it's got this shape inside. Now, what's really neat about masking with shapes and clipping selections is that you can come in and move that initial shape. These objects are still what are considered live. That means you can still manipulate them individually inside. So even if I were to shrink this square, it still works and I can still manipulate it inside and outside of this outer shape. And you notice when I put my mouse over it, it shows me the actual outline of the clipping mask itself. Now, what's another thing that's really neat is that if we build these, we can change that extra fill shape. So once again, I'm going to come in, I'm going to use my pointer, I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to mask with shape again. And I get that same value. Now, the default is that if I move this entire clipping shape, so the clipping outline, which is the star, and I move it around, the square moves with it. And if I put it over here, well, it's blocking this little turquoise square. And that's because when it created the mask, it filled that color, what was originally red, with white. But now I can come back into my fill and I can change it to background fill. You'll notice that the piece that we clipped out, that original rectangle, the orange one, is still there. But now out here, if we move over here, the star is filled with background color. So it's see-through. It's literally like it cut a hole and we can see the inside edges. And you'll notice that the orange here still covers up that blue there. And we can come back in here and once again, we can, in fact, shrink and modify this however we want. We can grab the corner, pull it in to get a rounded edge, and we still get that value that we can move around. And we can move this whole shape. So this mask with shape with background fill kind of acts as a cut window. Okay. So what happens if you change it around? So here's the same image, but now I'm going to put this rectangle on top. I'm going to do that by going modify, arrange, bring to front. That drags it to the top. The other option is I could have just come over here to my layers panel, clicked and dragged this to the top. So with the rectangle on top, modify, mask with shape again. What happened? Well, now the rectangle is the clipping mask. It's the clip shape. And the star is what's left inside. So the big thing to remember is that when we mask with shape, the shape that matters is the one on the topmost layer. Whichever layer is above becomes the clipping shape that's used by the mask. And so these are really useful for putting shapes inside other things and for manipulating them in the future. So this is, again, really close related to the clip selection and the paste inside options, which we'll look at next.